Last season, the New York Jets had one of the worst secondaries in the entire NFL, and the most experienced corner we have on our roster is Yall, who's about to enter his third season as a pro. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over veteran corners the New York Jets could add to the roster, as well as what adding a veteran cornerback does to your team. One of the guys the New York Jets could potentially sign is Richard Sherman. Sherman is one of the best corners of the 2010 decade. He spent the last 2 seasons in San Francisco, the place Robert Saleh, the New York Jets head coach, is coming from. And while he is 33, he's still playing relatively well football for his age. But Sherman recently said in an interview that he was considering the New York Jets as a fallback option. You know, it's been reported Sherman preferably wants to play for a contending team in the West Coast. But if, a deal doesn't work out with one of those teams, he would welcome a signing to the New York Jets. So if a signing doesn't work out with one of those contending teams on the West Coast, expect Sherman to be a New York Jet. Another guy the Jets could potentially sign is Steven Nelson. He's 28 years old, one of the best lockdown corners in the entire NFL, and is a scheme fit for the New York Jets. He also wants to be a New York Jet. If you look at this guy's likes on Twitter, it's full of Jets fans saying, "Come to New York, Steven. We really, really want you." Another guy we could potentially sign is Brian Poole. Poole's been the New York Jets slot corner for the past 2 seasons, but the defense coordinator we hired, Jeff Ulbrich, was on the Atlanta coaching staff when they let Brian Poole walk. So something tells me he's not a huge fan of Brian Poole, meaning we won't bring him back, but he is one of the best slot corners in the entire NFL, and we have Javelin Guillory and Michael Carter as our 2 options for a starting slot corner. Both of those guys, one of them is entering their 2nd season, one of them is a rookie. So adding a guy like Brian Poole would be really smart. Another slot corner we could add is DJ Hayden, who's been with Jacksonville for the past couple of seasons. He was a first-round draft pick by the Raiders back in 2013, was absolutely horrible for them. He signs with Jacksonville, switches to a slot corner, and he was, I wouldn't say great. He was solid. In 2020, he wasn't that good, but in 2019 and 18, he was a decent player for Jacksonville, and he's a low-risk, high-reward type of signing, because if the New York Jets were to bring him in, it would be on a cheap contract, and if he could work some magic with Robert Saleh, he could be a solid starter for the New York Jets. And the last guy I want to look at is Bashaud Breeland, who's been with Kansas City the past couple of years, and he's another guy like DJ Hayden. He would be a low-risk, high-reward type of signing. He hasn't been that good in Kansas City, but he's been solid. It's not like he's been horrible. It's just they could definitely use a replacement from Breeland, as he's not exactly that good. But Robert Saleh is known for developing corners into some pretty good players, so maybe he could do that with a guy like Bashaud Breeland. So by adding a veteran corner, you make your team better, you make your defense better, and ultimately you increase your chance of going to the playoffs. And all that stuff sounds great, but the veteran corner is only going to have that effect on you for 1 or 2 seasons, and it's going to hinder the development of your younger corners on the roster. I mean, all these Bryce Hall and Yall and Austin, Jason Pinnock, they're going to be going up against some really good receivers this year. We play Carolina Panthers week 1, who have Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. You play the Falcons week 5, who have Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. You play the Bills twice a year, who have Stephon Diggs. And you play multiple other teams who have some really stacked receiving cores. And sure, the young corners are probably going to struggle against them, but it's going to be a learning experience to play against those guys. Because by the end of the season, they're going to have played against so many good receivers, they're going to know what it takes to be a good corner and to stop those guys. And by 2022, they're going to be really good. But if you add a veteran corner, you don't allow Bryce Hall, Yall, and Austin to have that opportunity to play against DJ Moore. You don't let them have the opportunity to play against Julio Jones. So I don't think the New York Jets should add a veteran corner, because it's going to hinder the development of our young guys and just not be beneficial for our team 5 years down the line. So no, I don't think the New York Jets should sign a veteran corner. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. If you ended up enjoying, make sure to hit the subscribe and like button. Follow me on social media, Jude_Jets on Instagram and Twitter. If for some reason the comments are turned off, hit me up on my social medias. Well, I'm your host, Jude, signing off for now. See you later.